All right. Welcome to the third game of the evening. Pools. Um, Not sure if I'm supposed to scream that since it's all caps, but I'm not.
You're welcome to try if you really feel like it.
No, I'm good. Anyway, explore, admire, and listen. Relaxing, uncanny, eerie, hypnotic, immersive. No monsters chasing you or jumping towards you at your screen, but the game can feel oppressive at times by invoking fear of getting lost. The dark, tight spaces and outwardly architecture, liminal spaces inspired by back rooms. Like anyway, so this game was given to Galax for review. So over to him for the details.
Of which I unfortunately don't have a whole lot. Um, so you know what the backrooms is? It's this thing where you can like fall out of reality and end up in something that looks like what is literally the backrooms of hotels and stuff. Um, and then people online got interested in that and fluffed it all out
Yeah.
into having
Interested the
all
way you
kinds
could
of
put that.
multiple layers and things that live there that try to kill you and stuff, and a whole bunch of stuff that kind of, if you ask me, mostly defeats the purpose of it being a liminal space. But one of the levels they decided on is that there's one level where everything is pools and it's kind of wet. There's like tile that you find in a pool, and then uh, it's I mean it's that's what this is based on, but they've taken out the actual active threats and most of the other like gameplay features and stuff.
Mm.
So allegedly there are like 6 stages in this game, which you saw on the loading screen if you were watching the video. I think you can play some of them in any order. Allegedly you can complete them, and there are achievements that you get by like doing particular things. There's only like one on the first frickin' stage, because apparently I saw one of the reviews that the first stage is like mostly a demo stage from an asset pack or something, but then the later stages have more put into them.
Mm.
Um, so allegedly there's a way to complete the stage and then go on to the next one. But I never found that. I just walked around for a long time getting lost. I didn't even have to go into the water. There were very few. Like occasionally there'll be like an object, or you'll see something moving in the distance. But it's generally, apparently there's like one scary thing that happens in one of the things where if you end up in the dark, but I only found that about after it because I was, trying to avoid the dark because I'm not big on actual horror scary stuff. So yeah, there's not really a whole lot to this. The only controls you have are where you're looking and where you're walking, and it's just like mouse look and WASD. The menus also, I'm going to ding them some points on because they are entirely icon based, and not all of the icons are 100% predictable. I mean, like, I was able to. The settings is still a gear, but I could tell what the. I could kind of tell what they all were, but like, I wasn't 100% confident on like the play, and then the like. I guess it ended up being the credits one. So yeah, it's just there's water and there's tile stuff, and you can go upstairs and downstairs, and there are various passages of various designs, and some of the later levels have areas with some like more unexplained objects, and sometimes like apparently there's a couple of animals on one of the stages or something that you can find. But the whole thing of the game is to just walk around and experience stuff, as far as I can tell. Which, in terms of a gameplay experience, unless you either enjoy walking around in a liminal space or are creeped out by it but enjoy being creeped out, I feel like that's pretty much what there is to it. There's already apparently a guide for getting all the achievements, and there's not even many achievements. So,
And I guess if you have a legit phobia of liminal spaces, don't apply.
yeah, this is it could be scary if you find this kind of thing scary. I found it a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah, and there's stuff like designs on the walls sometimes. One of them looked like a map, but I couldn't figure out what it was a map of or where I was supposed to be on it, if that's what it was at all.
Yeah, that's one of those. There's not enough landmarks here to really orientate yourself to that kind of map. If it is an
Yeah,
actual
I
map.
think I spent a decent amount of time covering the same territory over and over again, getting lost. Somewhere around here on the first stage, there was a place where I went down some stairs and saw a ladder in the distance and thought I might go check that out. But when I went to it, it got pulled up by nothing that I could see before I got to it. So, yeah, I guess apparently from what the guide said, if you go down that hallway or one of those two dark hallways all the way to the end, you get an achievement and something scary happens, but I think you have to be not looking at the light. I don't know.
And like the water effect.
I didn't do it. I didn't even go in the water.
Yeah, the water effect is kind of cool, but it's also not really like an actual physics water effect.
And that's one of the things you can turn off in the settings. There's a setting for like interactive water.
Yeah.
Where it like tries to move the way that it's supposed to. It looks approximately right. You're getting a wake.
Yeah. And
it has a lot of visual options,
you can
but
handle
I didn't play around with.
Interactive water. I think I probably need to get out of the water. To register.
So now it's not really moving around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just no clipping into it or whatever.
Yeah, and it's just making you slower.
It apparently has pretty high spec ceiling in terms of like the walls looking like a really high res featureless tile or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, so far as I can tell, that's pretty much what the game is, and that's what you're gonna get. So, and there's no music, there's barely even sound.
Yeah.
So at least that I could find. Maybe there is on later levels. You definitely can't just start on the last couple. So what's the price, Adam?
$9.79.
I'm sure there's a reason for that.
That's an interesting choice of an amount, I guess.
Yeah. Currently 10%
that's
off.
Certainly about as much as I would consider paying for this, if I would at all. Even then, I would like reserve that for like if you're particularly interested in the themes and accept that there's not a whole lot going on. Because there really doesn't seem to be.
Fair enough.
Apparently, I think that's about all I got. There's not much to this one. The most involved puzzle that I read about when I was looking at the guide after I was done with it for a while was that apparently on, I think, the second stage or something, or third stage, you can look at a bunch of, there are like yellow circles around the level, and if you look at all of them, meaning like keep the camera focused on them for a while. They fade out and then all appear in one place later on in the stage, and then if you look at that, you get an achievement for it. And that is like the peak of interactivity that I heard of. And that's well beyond anything I actually experienced.
This is very much a walking simulator type game.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say.
All right. So that'll about do it for pools here. Be sure to tune in after the break as we take a look at Yogurt Commercial 3.